Hello and welcome to ET Global Town Hall keynote presentation and interview on future of sustainable mobility. I am Nabile Khan. The speaker for this session is Mr. Wolf-Henning Scheider, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Germany-based world third largest auto component manufacturer and a formidable company in wind energy space, ZF Group. He joins us live from Germany. Mr. Wolf-Henning Scheider started his professional career from Bosch GmbH. He was there from 1989 to 2010 and he held several important positions. In 2015, he joined Mahale Group as Chief Executive Officer and Chairman of the Management Board. He joined ZF Group in 2018 as Chairman of the Board of Management and Chief Executive Officer. ZF Group is one of the leading company when it comes to future mobility. It has been investing heavily in autonomous driving, electric mobility, and mobility as a service. So let me begin by inviting Mr. Scheider to give his keynote presentation before we get into an interview.
Well, thank you, Nabil, and thank you so much for the opportunity to speak at the second ET Global Town Hall.
I just want to understand as an industry expert, how do you see sustainability? You talked about electric vehicle, but there is a debate around electric vehicle also, if it is really truly carbon neutral, is it really zero emission, especially when we talk about the way we mine the raw materials like lithium, cobalt, or nickel, or manganese, or various other, component that is used in electric vehicle. There are naysayers. They are saying the process of mining this is highly polluting. So how do you see that the debate? Do you think that still electric vehicle continue to be the option when we try to move to zero carbon kind of scenario?
Well, some of the critical remarks are certainly correct for today's world. So, for example, using power from pollutant energy sources, like coal power utilities. You touched on the raw material, but in the course of the last years, there are thousands of great engineers working on solving these topics, and many have already been solved. For example, the rare earth magnet utilization in the motors has been significantly reduced for some of the most difficult, or let's say scarce rare earth portions that we used some years ago. So our engineers are working heavily on making the battery electric vehicle really sustainable. And I'm very, very optimistic that in the course of the next 10 years, we will solve most or even all of these obstacles so that the electric mobility can be the solution in the next decade.
I just want to understand how the imperatives are going to be different for the developed economy and the developing economy as we move forward to a future of sustainable mobility.
Well, certainly in developing countries, but also in many areas of the developed world, the infrastructure plays a major role. We see more and more vehicles now in the showrooms, and there are very affordable electric vehicles among them. Infrastructure is a major topic. Certainly, charging at home is a good solution for people that are mainly driving in urban areas. But if we want to replace the combustion engine vehicle, infrastructure is key, and I see today still a big gap in many areas in India, in Europe, in the US, in spite of great governmental actions to build this up and to foster it. So this is why we see the plug-in hybrid as a great solution, at least for the next 15-20 years. Yeah, because with a plug-in hybrid, you can charge it maybe at home or at your workplace, and then have the long driving distance in case you need it beyond 100 kilometers using the combustion engine. So this is a major reason why we believe so much in the technology, at least for the next 2 decades.
What are the, forces, or you can say the mega trends that you note around the world that will shape up the future of sustainable mobility?
Well, the megatrends are certainly electric mobility. That is, for me, strategically already underway, and ZF is under full steam in executing the electric mobility. But strategically, with our setup globally, we are sure that we will be leaders in that market, world market leaders with our product. But it goes beyond. The next wave of transformation is the connected vehicle, the software-defined vehicles. Now, we need those vehicles with update over-the-air software so that we can improve functions, load new functions into the vehicle, maybe even drive efficiency over time with most modern algorithms, using AI in the back end on the server side, and then giving new functions to the vehicle. So for me, this is a transformation as big as we talk about in the propulsion system. And it's going to come to the markets quite heavily in the midst of this decade. So ZF is heavily preparing that area. And then if we look at further functions, I mean, in the long run, let's face it, all vehicles will be autonomous, but nobody knows when. Yeah, so it will certainly take some decades that vehicles will run autonomous. But due to comfort, it would be obviously the dream of everybody, and we are working on it. So we have to introduce higher and higher autonomous functions. And a great roadmap also for electric vehicles in the meantime is to increase safety. And that is also so important for the Indian market, and many others, of course, to use software and hardware functions for safety. And ZF is working also on low-cost autonomous or automatic driving functions with the first aim of safety, and in the longer run, helping to make the vehicle autonomous.
You talked about PHEV. I just want to understand, of course, PHEV is going to play an important role, especially for emerging markets like India and other, where infrastructure remains a challenge. I just want to understand, how do you see the fuel cell or hydrogen fuel vehicles shaping up? What kind of, market share these fuel cell vehicles or hydrogen fuel vehicle will have around the world?
Well, as you know, ZF is #1 supplier to the commercial vehicle industry. And in that sector, there's certainly room for fuel cell because some trucks are going long haul. We estimate that it's maybe up to half of the truck fleet is going long haul. And battery is not really the best solution in that case due to weight and cost of a battery for a truck that needs to go more than 600 to 1,000 kilometers on many trips. So we focus on the fuel cell for commercial vehicles, and there will be ZF solutions coming up. But anyhow, we see also that the other portion of the truck market will be battery, because in cities and not so long distances for the daily truck drive, battery might be the solution. In the pass car, not really. Due to the overall efficiency of the hydrogen system, where you use a lot of energy in the process of producing hydrogen, and then also in the use in the vehicle, the overall efficiency is even less than the efficiency of a combustion engine today. So this is why we believe in the passenger car, the battery and the plug-in hybrid are the better solutions.
In your presentation, you mentioned that ZF will be carbon neutral by 2040. Can you share with us what are the concrete steps you have taken so far, and how does it work in the next 2 decades? Because we are already in 2021.
Yeah, first of all, it is always reduction, energy efficiency. So we are reducing our energy consumption by 2% every year. Yeah, and working hard with project in spite of the growth of the company. Yeah, so the net value is much higher in reduction. And this is by thousands of projects in all the sites in creating energy efficiency, higher energy efficiency, and just reducing the consumption. The other portion is turning to renewables. I mentioned solar as a large supplier for the wind industry. Obviously, we're also going for wind parks and also preparing joint partnerships of ownership, of ZF ownership in wind parks in order to supply our own renewable energy to our plants. Other measures are turning away from natural gas, either turning it to electricity, renewable electricity, or to green resources. The more difficult part is the what's called upstream and downstream product use. So our supply chain and the use of our products. The use of our products, we want to be in 100% renewable vehicles by 2040. So beyond that, we don't want to sell products that go into combustion engines, and only in really sustainable vehicles. And I think that's possible. It's extremely challenging, but this is our aim. And I think it's possible. With our suppliers, we have already intensive discussions in motivating them to go the same path. And we get a lot of positive feedback on that. So I'm sure that our supply base will follow us in being also CO2 neutral by 2040.
Thank you so much, Mr. Scheider, for giving us time and joining ETAuto Global Town Hall. Thank you so much once again.